series. Yes.
Sunil, stay on with me. I'll come back to you in a few minutes. Now, the Board of Control for Cricket in India released its contracts for players across 4 categories annually. These contracts are the official retainers that bind the nation's elite cricketers to the national team. The nature of the contract and the remuneration that comes with it depends upon the contribution of the player in the 3 formats of the game. The BCCI last awarded the central contracts to its players in April 25, but the news of stalwarts Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma facing a pay cut in the next cycle has already started buzzing. The central contracts are a carefully calibrated mechanism designed to reward performance, incentivize participation, especially in the test format, while also maintaining the high standards of professionalism within the squad. Let's start by taking a look at the actual net worth of Virat Kohli and then take a look at what the BCCI contracts are. So let me give you an overview of that, viewers. Now, let's look at Virat Kohli's net worth. His sources of income, the BCCI contract, of course. Now, the endorsements, let's begin with that. Rupees 200 crore annually is what comes from his endorsements. The business ventures, it's, all right, the sources of income, real estate, the Mumbai house at 34 crore. So that's his real estate income. Those are his sources of income that we're discussing. His Mumbai house at a 34 crore. Can we have the next slide, please? All right, viewers, so we're just telling you about the net worth. Now, of course, the Gurugram house that Virat Kohli has is 80 crores, is priced at an whopping 80 crore. That is Virat Kohli's source of income. We're talking about his real estate at this point. Can we have the next slide, please? All right. Now, the BCCI contracts, of course, A plus at rupees 7 crore. We're talking about Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Jasprit Bumrah and Ravindra Jadeja. So the BCCI contracts is what we're discussing of these players. And we have Mohammad Siraj, of course, A at rupees 5 crore, KL Rahul, Shubman Gill, Hardik Pandya, Mohammad Shami and Rishabh Pant. So that is the BCCI contract that we're discussing of these players. Let's get to rupees 3 crore. We have Surya Kumar Yadav, Kuldeep Yadav, Aksar Patel, Yashasvi Jaiswal, Shreyas Iyer. That is the amount of 3 crore. Rupees 1 crore, viewers, is for Rinku Singh, Tilak Verma, Rituraj Gaikwad, Shivam Dubey, Ravi Bishnoi, Washington Sundar, Mukesh Kumar and Sanju Samson. 1 crore. We're giving you, viewers, an overview of the BCCI contracts of all these players. Rupees 1 crore again at Arshdeep Singh, Prasidh Krishna, Rajat Patidhar, Dhruv Jurel, Sarfaraz Khan, Nitish Reddy, Ishan Kishan and Abhishek Sharma. 1 crore for Akash Deep, Varun Chakravarti and Harshit Rana. All right, viewers, so that's an overview of the BCCI contracts, and of course I have Sunil Yashkalra, cricket scholar, with me. Sunil, now the very important part here is, my first question to you is, how well does the current central contract structure, which we've showed our viewers, A plus, B and C, reflect a player's value and contribution?
Well, if you asked me 5 years ago, this was the majority chunk. This was the 70% of the chunk for the Indian to make money from the central contract. And also it's a matter of great medallion to have in category A, A plus, B or C, wherever part of the contract. It means that you're one of the 36 players in the country that gets anywhere from 30,000 per day to 1 lakh rupee per day if you make it to the central contract. Take a step back. Is that important? Yes. But you know, it berefts our imagination, because when you go into the IPL auction, you get 27 crores. Now hold on. If a player like Rishabh Pant, who gets 2.5, 3 crores here, gets whopping 26, 27 crores in 1 year for an IPL auction, which means that it's a good sign for him. So therefore, it becomes a negligible part. Also, you mentioned about Virat Kohli. Yes, he's got a 200 crore kind of a valuation. But let's look at the 45 crores that he's invested last week in an athletic wear company, which he created on his own. After being with Puma for 8 years, he severed the contract and went on to create his own brand. Also, you must look as Virat Kohli's investment that is not only in this part of the world, but on the other side of UK, which could be in form of cricket, land, restaurants that people keep talking about. So, of course, when you combine this, it will be much more than 200 crores. Now, what BCCI is doing is that they've given the annual contract, which means that they've given him 3.5, 4 crores or 5 crores for a year. But just look at the apathy that they resigned after getting the contract. I remember very clearly within the 3 weeks of the central contract being signed, they resigned from the Indian cricket team in the Test and the ODI, which means that out of three formats, they will only be playing one. But in the last 6 months, they've got monies for all the three formats. So when you look at it, it's a different game altogether. And I think it's a good valuation time, but it won't matter to Virat Kohli or Rohit Sharma because the sources of income are multiple. There are 6 or 7 in today's time and world. You must also realize that Virat Kohli is the number 2 most followed cricketer or sportsman in the world after Cristiano Ronaldo. So one tweet or one social media post runs into crores. So whatever they're trying to chop off his thing, he can make it in 1 or 2 posts that he can make it for any of the brands that are vying for it. Just imagine there was a talk that earlier there was an online money gaming advertiser, but now you've got the tire companies which are making. Somebody is playing with the Seat bat, the other with the MRF, and third is the Apollo tires who's now running the roost. So I think these big sponsors will also get on to Virat Kohli's table and try to capitalize on his on huge following that he has on both sides of the Atlantic and the world and the Indian Ocean. Yes, Abhishek.
You know, Sunil, talking about team culture and performance. Now, if Virat and Rohit are demoted or dropped from the A+ next cycle, how do you think that will affect the team culture and performance going forward?
Obviously, I think everybody said it that they should never be dropped from any form of cricket. In fact, you must look at the other way around. You must juice them as much as possible, get their greatness down to the the second part, the third level or the fourth level. I think in that way, Mumbai Indians has done a great job of utilizing Sachin Tendulkar's greatness in the dugout for Mumbai Indians and in the dressing room. I mean, what it does, it creates a legacy. I think the current form of BCCI is not looking at the legacy part; it's just on a revenge mode. And I'm sitting here in UAE, and I see the Indian diaspora just trying to want more and more of him. Just imagine, you've got Messi coming here in a few weeks' time, and it's got an entire Argentinian fans and everybody just rooting that he's the biggest export. Here we're treating them as one of the culprits. Hey, you become too big. I think let us cut you to size because we are the official. That should never be the case. But at the same time, the players should also, sober down a bit. I think there has to be a mix between the coach culture and the player culture needs to meet together, shake hands, and say for the betterment or of the cricket, let's take a step forward, give it back to the next generation. Because remember, cricket is becoming the biggest game in the world, and it's only the second game in the world. But as a woman-man growth aspect, it has got the largest number of matches being played, the goods being imported from India. So I think overall, it's a good sign if you were to take care of them. Some players you've got to keep them with kid gloves, and I think in the last part, in the sunset of their playing career, it's only the respect that they need, nothing else. I'm sure they're going to make more monies if they were to come here and play the Saudi League, which will be launched or announced in a 6 months or a year's time. I mean, they'll make most of it. But just it's time for us to get them around, get them to the stadium, and give them little respect. But at the same time, get somebody elder to give a tap on the shoulder and tell them, boss, behave yourself and call it a truce and be respectful as you expect the board to be. Yes, Urushi.
Very well said, Sunil. Always a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you for joining me on the broadcast and now moving forward. Now,